Today we got the riding lawnmower back in the shop. What we're going to be focusing on is the ignition system and the carburetor. The ignition system is just essentially a bunch of loose wires hanging out over here, and it's not doing anything. I'd like to be able to start it with the key as opposed to a 7/8 open-end wrench like I have been. On the carburetor side of things, we're going to be disassembling, cleaning, and putting it all back together, and that should solve our hunting and surging problems. So let's jump right into it. The first thing I'm going to check is this fuse right here. There's problem number one. We got a broken fuse. So let's put a new fuse in there and see if maybe that fixes the problem. The one I took out was a 15 amp. This is a 25 amp, but it's not broken. So we're gonna shove it in there. Maybe it'll solve all of our problems. Fingers crossed, right? Alright, here's our first moment of truth. No sparks, maybe turn over. Here we go. Nope. Nothing. Alright. Let's start tracking voltage down and see where we're losing it. Alright, we got 13 volts of the battery. Step one done. Just out of curiosity, let's check these red wires that are hanging out, see if they have any voltage going to them. No on that one. Oh, 12 volts. I wonder if anything happens when we touch them together. Wow, the key is plugged in. Let's see. Come on, baby. Nope, nothing. It works! Okay, that's great. Now let's fix it. We got our handy dandy crimpers. Clip the wire down, put a new connector on there. Crimp it down real good. There we go. Now we can put this back up. Insert our terminal here. That works. And now we should be able to connect these wires back together and use our key again. Survey says we got a key to start the engine. That's amazing. Once we're ready to put the covers back on here, this is going to be pretty easy to button up. I'm very excited that it functions properly. And now let's jump into the carburetor. We're going to start by putting a fuel shutoff so we don't make a mess, and then we'll be able to pull the carburetor off, clean it out, shove it back together, fire this thing up, and drive it on out of here. Let's go. I'm going to start by replacing this redundant fuel filter with the fuel shutoff valve. gonna have to move quickly because this thing's gonna leak. And I don't want to make a big stinky mess. So. There we go. Made sure my valve was closed before I stuck it on there. Alright. And I made a big stinky mess anyway. Okay. Yep, one more bolt right there. Wouldn't you know it? Looks like a 8mm. And I'm right. There we go. Now we got our filter housing off. Set this out of the way for now. Alright, we've got a couple of linkages here. We're going to leave this bit of fuel hose on there. Otherwise, everything looks A-okay. Pull these studs out. That's holding everything together. And I'm going to try to keep all my gaskets intact. I do have some gasket material, but I don't want to use it if I don't have to. There we go. Gasket looks fine. We'll hold on to that. Now I just need to take the linkages off and I'll be able to get this out of there. Up and away. Alright. Got the carburetor off there. Actively pouring gas on the floor. We're going to take the bowl off of here, pull the jets out, get them cleaned up, clean the carburetor up on the outside, and slap everything back together. We're going to start by taking the bolt out of the bottom of our bowl with a 12mm wrench. Nice and clean in there. So we're not having any issues with the float or getting fuel or anything like that. We just want to clean out the jets. So we have one right here on the side. And that's the only one I see. We'll see what that is. So that's turned all the way in. I just need to make sure it ends up in the same spot when I go back together with it. There we go. Looks pretty clean. I'll poke it out just to make sure. Got my torch cleaning set. Find one that fits. And clean this out with some carb cleaner. Shot this little rubber tip out of there, but I managed to find it. Note to self, when you put pressure into that little pinhole back there, it shoots that rubber right out of there. I'm going to poke out these little passages with my torch tip cleaner. Blow them out. And put this little rubber tip back in there. And now we can put our jet back in there. The last thing I wanted to do is check this screw and find out what that is. We'll go back the same way with it. Yep, there's a little tiny jet in there. Right there. So I need a tiny little screwdriver to get it out. Got our custom made screwdriver now. Let's see if she'll come out. There you are. You're the cause of my problems. Clean this out first. Now we can clean our jet with the torch tip cleaner. jet seated. Put our cap back in there. There we go. Tighten our cap back down. There we have it. I'm gonna do the best I can with this O-ring. It's a little heart-shaped. And there it goes. And very carefully. There we go. Let's go throw that back on the mower and see what happens. And going back together, the first thing I want to do is hook up our governor control arm and the spring. There we go. And then we'll slide our gasket in between the intake and the carburetor. Go in with the studs. And I'm not putting the choke arm on. I'll just choke it by hand until I put a choke cable on there. Go. Now let's hook up our fuel line. And we're going to tighten that down. Don't want no leaks. There we go. Okay, I think we're ready to fire her up. See if she's running a little smoother now. So before we fire her up, I noticed one more thing. We're missing an engine mount bolt. So I got a 5/16 bolt with washers and nuts. It fits through there. I'm gonna run it down, not threading it into the engine block, but I'm gonna run it through that bolt hole and then go in with a washer and a nut on the bottom side. And that should alleviate our very rough knocking, banging noise that we have. When I was running it earlier, I could see the whole engine shifting and moving around. So we're going to put this bolt in there, tighten up the other three, and we should be a lot smoother running. I got it started on there. I'm going to hold the top with my wrench, and I'll tighten the bottom with my socket. That one's tight. Turn the gas on. Let's see what happens. Well, I did the best I could cleaning the carburetor, but we're still having a little bit of a surging problem, and it's getting too much air or not enough fuel at low idle. So I'm gonna put the air filter housing back on. I don't have any high hopes that that's gonna do anything, but it's a possibility. So I'm gonna get that put back on. We'll fire it up one more time, see if that helped, and we'll go from there. All right, we're gonna fire it up one more time to see if the filter helped at all. All right, time to button her back up. We did it. We took a free non-running lawnmower and we got this. This thing is driving great. There's no more knocking, rattling, shaking from the engine since we tightened up all those mounting bolts. Engine's running a lot smoother since we cleaned out the carburetor. And as soon as Sparky gets our plug in the wall, we'll be ready to start cutting and welding this thing and getting it as low as we can possibly get it. So stick around and I'll see you in the next video.